What's up, everybody? It's beesneez. I'm with my friend Sam.
Yo,
Thought we'd talk about mental health, music, and the impact that's had on our lives. He's been my friend since what, 28,
2017?
2017? Jeez,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
sophomore in high school, so that would be around 2017 for sure.
yeah, we
Yeah.
met through choir, and that definitely had an impact on both of our lives. I know our choir teacher meant a lot to us.
Yeah,
You
for
want to
sure.
speak on that?
So basically, there's this wonderful lady that I met when I was around like 16. Um, Honestly, like the way you just like the first time I was like in choir and things like that, I think it was the people that were a year above me were calling her mom and stuff, I think, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. Yeah. And like from that, I can honestly just understand like the kind of impact she had, not just only as a choir teacher, but as like a person. Like she really like cared about her students and things of that nature. Um, just like the fundamentals of like caring for people and like bringing out the best in people when it comes to singing and like in that environment, you know, um you need like she was like a leader,
hmm
like literally led everyone in the right direction. And there's like a comforting, like she had that comforting motherly presence, and like it was always a safe space. Like
Yeah.
if you had like AP statistics and like you couldn't understand something, it just felt like a breath of fresh air to walk in the room and know like
hmm
we'll joke around, sing, and you can tell when she's having a bad day too, and she's still like able to push through it
Yeah.
as well.
I remember something she always said, and I've carried on through a lot of my life is fake it till you make it.
Exactly.
And that's really
Exactly.
important because you have days you don't feel like it, but that doesn't matter. And no one
Yeah.
cares you're having a bad day. You just
Hmm.
gotta stick through it. So,
Exactly. In this life, man, it's like the the world keeps turning, the
mhm.
world keeps going, and
Not gonna
how
wait for you.
exactly, and how you stay consistent and how you continue to, you know, work with the cards that you're given defines your character.
hmm
And when she said fake it till you make it, it means like even if you think it's not there, you gotta create,
Yep.
you know.
Create those
Um,
opportunities. You know.
exactly. Like you don't even know, like, not to debate religion or anything, but at the end of the day, we were all created by something.
hmm
And, I believe that we are all also meant to create something, whether it's through service, whether it's
hmm
through art, whether it's through singing. We're all meant to like do things like whoever created us.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I thought a lot about how to like what it means to live a fulfilling life.
yeah.
And I really think that a lot of it is you were set out for a purpose, and you were set to do one thing, and whether that's make art, that's help people, that's do whatever.
Hmm.
Everyone has their purpose. So
Hmm.
as long as you create something like you're saying, I think that's a fulfilling life.
Yeah, and the thing about how choir reflects that kind of environment is that, everyone has a part to play in one one like a three or four sets of songs. And it's funny because at the beginning, just like in many moments of life, everything's like mixed up. Like
hmm
the tenors might sound crazy over here, the basses might sound crazy over here. But as you continue to repeat, be consistent, and learn and show up for yourself,
hmm
things start to come together.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It was beautiful every year that I started doing choir to see that come to light. And you really get to like feel those songs. We would have moments where we would just analyze different songs, understand what they mean, and you know, it really like everything comes to life, and it's just a really beautiful experience.
Yeah, I miss choir the most by far out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I have my things that I've thought about it in the past, but I
Mm-hmm.
miss it a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a big reason for that.
For sure.
I've seen a lot of choir teachers over the years, and just
Mm-hmm.
teachers in general,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't met many people who can just. It was almost cult-like, not in like a
Yeah, not
negative
in a
way,
bad way,
not in
but
a negative
like,
way at all, but like the way she led people and the way she just made everyone feel at home.
Yeah.
It really was, like you said, like a break from, because high school is
Reality.
stressful.
Yeah,
And
man.
it's so impressive that like I was in choir a lot of times where
Mhm.
like we were disjointed,
Mhm.
like we obviously didn't get along very well,
Mhm.
but you know at the end of the concert we put something out there,
Mhm.
and the fact that she was able to get that consistently from every single choir
Mhm.
was like almost sometimes a
Yeah.
miracle.
Yeah, she like she really can bring the best out of anybody. Like when I think one of the first moments I noticed like Sam and his like singing talent and stuff like that is when it was the Billy Joel song. What was
For the
it?
longest time, I
For the
think. Yeah.
longest time, this dude's voice was absolutely beautiful. I hit him up that day or some like shortly after heard it. I'm like, dude went crazy, and it was insane. I think that was like the start to beginning of our friendship
Yeah.
and things like that. I didn't get a solo until senior year. I think I did decent. It was also
Yeah.
a Joel
You
song,
killed it.
but yeah, man. I mean,
Sam squared.
yeah, for sure. Been going on for like 6 years,
Yeah,
seven
man.
years. I mean, this is my guy for life, you know. So yeah, I think one thing we can also talk about is like that feeling of being on stage, like
Yeah.
that finished product, and when you like produce that into the world and put it into the world, that's something like I think each of us probably want to replicate in our own lives, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because um, usually it takes like what 2 to 3 months to like
Yeah. Yeah.
do a performance and things like that.
It always amazed me how like it was almost so like unconscious the way that it was just a smooth process.
Hmm.
There were times when I was trying to memorize a song.
Hmm.
I don't think I ever once did anything outside of, well, maybe a few times.
Right.
I don't think I ever really did a lot of stuff outside of class though,
Exactly.
because it was the everyday like,
Hmm.
and yeah, I guess we did meet for about an hour every day, but
Yeah.
like we were always ready,
Yeah.
um, and the there was no feeling much like being able to go out there and perform.
For
The
sure.
teamwork, like it takes a lot, and
For sure.
I never felt that in sports. Granted, I was in like second grade,
Yeah.
but like the choir, like there's no feeling much like being able to go out there with your
Yeah.
choir and sing.
It almost feels like I played football when I was in middle school, right?
Mhm.
And like when it came to like going on stage and like expressing yourself, I think one of my personal strong points was like how I was doing like facial expressions at the
Yeah,
time and things like that.
my mom commented. I remember
Yeah.
one concert, she was like, "Wow, your friend's really expressive."
Yeah. Yeah, and like I felt like, you know, it kind of felt like game day. It kind of felt like, you're going out and then like you're just executing different
Hmm.
moments and like
Lock
whether
in.
high notes, low notes, and all of that stuff.
Got to do that pregame ritual.
Yeah, I think, dude, there's one time I was in it was rehearsal and like I got into this so locked in mode. Like I was like literally like staring down the audience and stuff. And then commented on it how like I was literally like staring everyone down because I
Hmm.
was so locked in and everything.
Yeah.
And like it really just feels like a different world.
Hmm.
And when it ended in 2019 for me, I can't speak to how it ended for you, but like it was one of the most emotional days I ever had in high school,
Yeah.
man. I think I ran up to this dude first, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly. Because it was really like you're like the family's leaving,
Yeah.
like um
I can tell choir meant a ton to you
yeah,
through high school.
exactly, for sure. Because we would meet up in the mornings, we would stay up like
Hmm.
after school for a little bit. Um Acapella too.
Yeah.
The acapella group was amazing.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. I have no regrets when it comes to choir and a cappella. I would do that a million times
for
over.
sure.
And it really helped like the brotherhood in a cappella and
Exactly.
the team type feeling of choir.
Yeah.
Like there were definitely like I feel like with the musical I never really felt like I belonged, but
Hmm.
the choir, like I didn't get along with everybody, but
Hmm.
everyone felt like we were all
A
working
team.
together in a
Yeah.
team effort, and
Yeah.
it was awesome.
It was great.
So
And I think I think for me, it also helped me tone like hone in my own creative ventures. So um, I have I have this thing called poetry. I didn't create poetry, like,
Wow.
but
You invented poetry?
that would have been dope on my resume. That would have been dope. But um, I started writing poetry my senior year, and I think being in a place like choir and stuff like that, it really like helped because like there are all sorts of people like theater kids and different people who had different artistic abilities, and like you really got to see that through different interactions and things of that nature, like how different people were talented with music. And like I wasn't like, when it came to like solfege and like all the technical stuff of singing and stuff like that, I was not the best at it at all, I gotta admit. But
I'm sure if I went back to do that, I'd fail so
yeah,
hard.
for sure. But I think one thing that always stuck to me was words,
Hmm.
and how beautiful words can sound, how you put them together. And like the songs we were singing, like they had deep, profound meanings and stuff like that. And some of them were like based in like really old times, some of them were based in really new times.
Yeah.
So what I took from that is like, okay, like maybe create something on my own. So I started writing in 2019. I had anxiety, I had like different, mental issues at the time, and it really helped me facilitate an outlet and
Yeah.
create an
It's
outlet.
so important.
And I feel like singing in general can really just really is another way of putting yourself out there. It's another way of, when you're performing in choir, but you perform everywhere you go in life, whether it's a job interview, whether it's a networking event. You always have to do something where you're taking the sum of your parts, recreating it, and then showing it to the world.
Yeah.
So eventually, I wrote for like 2 years, and I started writing poetry, and then my outlet became Tales for Growing Sunflowers. And for me, for Tales for Growing Sunflowers, it's just a collection of poems to explore different sets of emotions and things like that. So that became one of my outlets, and I feel like music definitely influenced that and me being able to express myself and things of like that.
Yeah, it's so cool to see. Like, I feel like you people interact with music in a million different ways,
For sure.
and it can mean one song I feel like could mean something completely different to another person.
Exactly.
And it's so cool. Like, music has been the one consistent with me throughout my entire life. Like, I knew from day one that I wanted music to be a part of my life, and I wanted to put out music, and I knew, like, as soon as I found choir, I was like, all right, this is what I was this is it. This is what I meant to do. And even outside of choir, like, I've always listened to music since I was little. I remember my dad playing music in the car, and so many songs mean so much to me when I was younger, and then the songs that mean something to me now. And no matter what I'm going through, no matter how emotionless some days I feel, no matter how bad I feel, no matter what rut I'm in, I like, music has always been that one thing that will get me out of that and help me feel better, and like make me feel something, which is a struggle sometimes.
Yeah, man. Like the world can be definitely dull sometimes, mundane, repetitive, so what music does, it just brings like it brings color to a black and white canvas.
Yeah.
I'd say that. And I think the beauty of music is how many times you could shuffle three simple things, like different chords and stuff, like different moments, like um different like notes you hold when you're in a choir and singing. you know it's just awesome seeing how when you mix everything, when you like take everything apart, you realize how things are similar. Like you realize how there's a guy on a unicycle just
On a unicycle.
yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy. um but basically it's like you all start with the same set of notes: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And to see how you can recreate that into your own way and express all these different, these like same like 10 notes or something into so many different ways. It's a beautiful thing to experience and perform.
And music is constantly evolving,
Exactly.
and my your taste is constantly evolving. And
Hmm.
I remember like back freshman year, I was like, oh man, Logic's my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
um, but
Yeah.
it's awesome to see how my taste has changed over the
Hmm.
years, and like
Yeah.
what music means to me now and what music meant to me then.
Hmm.
Um, and like Tyler the Creator has been that one for me that
For
like
sure.
throughout everything, it's stuff that I can relate to, and
Hmm.
a lot of music I like. I'm not gonna listen to Ice Cube and be like, oh yeah, yeah, I relate to that 100%.
Yeah.
But Tyler talks about it a lot, and like older stuff I can't really relate to, but
Yeah.
like Earl Sweatshirt too, or like
Hmm.
Brockhampton, like the people
Hmm.
talking about real stuff, people talking
Hmm.
about mental stuff, like
Hmm.
stuff that I can relate to, and Mac Miller too. Like
Hmm.
it's people like that, and not just rap, but
Hmm.
people that I like listen to, and I'm like, yeah, this is relating to me and
Yeah.
helps me through times.
Yeah. Through that experience in choir, I definitely expanded my musical palette over the years, you
Hmm.
know. Um our friend Jason, like he was the one who put me on to Earl Sweatshirt at the time.
Hmm.
And like by the time like 1 year passed, I became an Earl Sweatshirt fiend. I was like playing some rap songs like all the time, posting about it on my story all the time. And you know, it's crazy because but at first listen, you have a jarring feeling
Yeah.
when you're entering something new. But the beauty of accepting different things into your life is that when you make that space for it, you never know what it can do for you. Like at the time, when I was listening to some rap songs and hearing Earl talk about different things he was going through with his mental, different things he
Hmm.
was going through with his family and things like that, through first listen, I would have never understood
Hmm.
the true meanings behind that and how that I can relate to it. But after allowing that music to flow through, eventually I became almost obsessed with it. But it was like it was a way to get through life. It was a way to get through the stresses of senior year,
Yeah.
deciding what college to go to, my next steps in life, and like understanding that these feelings I might be having when I'm down aren't foreign to the world. And
Yeah.
like
You're not
other
alone.
people, yeah, you're not alone. Other people are going through um similar things, and you know, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something we definitely connected on through the years was music, because we have pretty similar tastes in a lot of ways,
For
and
sure.
I've always tried to be open as much as I can with music. Like
Mhm.
I'll listen to like French jazz, and then turn
Mhm.
around and listen to like like some 80s rock, and then turn around and listen to Chief Keef, or like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so nice how like music will make you feel so many different ways. And like when I'm
Exactly.
in a certain mood, to like when I'm out of work and I like I'm angry at the world, like I have
Mhm.
music to listen to there, or
Mhm.
like I have
Yeah.
music that I listen to when I have off days and I'm just like trying to chill.
Each thing has its purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so beautiful. Like music has infinite amounts of ways it can make you feel.
Mhm.
I know a lot of music for me will like I'll listen to it and it'll feel like I transport into like another world, where I'll like
Exactly.
imagine a movie scene or stuff
Exactly.
like that. So
Exactly.
it's so cool.
And even with movies, when you like are seeing something and you find something you like, and then you're like, that music's really good, and then
Hmm.
like you pull it from that movie soundtrack, and it feels like you in a movie too.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
feels like I'm going through this scene where like like the Batman soundtrack, for example, where I'm jogging at night, and then it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to like kick a drug dealer down and like shake him and take him to the police or something.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not gonna do that. It's Naperville, but like um,
yeah. Kick down a vapor or something.
yeah,
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 so many movies would not be what they are without music
at all,
at all.
at
Like
all.
Goodfellas is like iconic
Exactly,
music.
exactly,
Scarface, iconic music. Like
exactly.
Interstellar,
Hmm.
like that soundtrack is incredible. Like so many, Pulp Fiction. Like I could go on
Yeah,
forever. Like
Oppenheimer too.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
a
gosh,
great soundtrack.
insane.
Great
Yeah.
soundtrack.
So music is incredible, and like I said, like no matter what you're going through, there's always music for if you're feeling yourself one day,
Hmm.
if you're down, like everything. There's music for literally every emotion.
Yeah, and that's vital for your mental health because like when you're in a when you're in a rut, when you're in like when you're not acting the best, when it like think you're letting life, you know, swing you side to side, it's good to have something to like recenter you or take
Mhm.
you to a different place.
Yep.
Sometimes you feel like you're stuck or you feel like you're in the same place and you feel like you're not going nowhere. So to have that ability to like kind of feel like you've transcended your own life and like you're going somewhere else, it gives you peace, but also gives you motivation to continue to go forward and
Yeah.
continue to be like, hey, I can do this. I'm like, hey, I got this good feeling right now. Let's go a couple steps more. Let's
Yeah.
go, let's write some more. Let's, you know, continue to apply. Let's continue to network
Hmm.
and things like that. Let's continue to grow.
Right.
And that's all this life is about, you know,
Yeah.
growing and finding your purpose, executing your purpose. And
Yeah.
I,
We're all learning every day. No one's
mm,
perfect. Everyone, like, I've messed up so many times, and this year has been
yeah,
really rough. But you know,
for me as well.
I, I just you can't give up. You can't. You just got to have that mindset of you're always looking to get better. You're always looking
Mm,
to improve.
mm,
And you just got to keep working. You can't stay stagnant. That's the
exactly.
biggest thing. That should be your biggest fear is just going nowhere. Like you
Yeah,
got to keep moving. You got to keep
yeah.
going.
Like when it comes to like 5 years ago, I look at I look at some things on my phone that were from 5 years ago, and I'm like, I'm not the same person I
Oh yeah,
was
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
And you know, sometimes I get frustrated with like where my progress is at some point, but then I realize how far. Then you realize how far you come, and you're like, hey, I've made
Oh
progress.
yeah.
Like things have changed. Like I've done different things for myself. You know, so
Yeah.
that's that's the thing about progress and the tools you can use to facilitate it, the tools you can use to bring it to life.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
And you kind of had a unique upbringing. Did you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, so I grew up in a Ghanaian family and stuff like that, you know. Um and in Naperville, basically what happened was like I wasn't around, you know, people that I guess kind of like look like me for
Yeah.
instance. Like I had church and things like that, but for the most part, I kind of like had a isolation type of deal, you know. And a lot of the times I had to kind of like be away. Like I wasn't like going out much because I had to like, you know, stay home and, you know, just deal with home stuff. And the thing is that like, I think there was a lot of high stress moments. And, you know, in those moments, I definitely found that, you know, music was my escape for that.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't say I had a terrible upbringing or anything. Like I grew up great. My parents did great for me and things like
Yeah.
that. But there are definitely moments where I was like, this is a lot right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with a lot. But, you know, I think, you know, I had my religion at the time, still do, trust in God and things like that. And I also had different outlets. So when my problems with feeling alone or feeling pressure, um, getting that outlet is something that I think is vital for everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to like in the human body in itself, you have your kidneys who are able to filter out different things and different wastes and stuff like that. And you need that for your mental as well, figuratively speaking. I mean, you're gonna have negative thoughts, you're gonna have negative waste when you're going through life. And when that happens, finding a way for me, I put it on the page and I listen to music and I go on walks and stuff. But those two things, listening to music and writing, have been my greatest outlets because when I put different words together, I can take one thing I'm feeling and put it on a page and then I can share it with someone else. And when that happens, it's like, you know, it feels it feels amazing because someone can take what I'm writing and like relate it to themselves. And in a way it felt like a special connection.
Yeah.
So that's why I started poetry and like started like, you know, um writing because I definitely wanted to take my own emotions that I'm dealing with and then have someone else understand it in their own way and resonate with it. And I
Yeah.
feel like when I'm able to do that, I'm able to form like really cool connections with people. Like when I share it and they're like, hey, I really like this line right here. I'm like, hey, I like that line too. Or sometimes they take something where I thought it was a trash line and it's like, oh, it's no, I really like that line right there. And I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have thought that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Words can mean so many different things to
Mm-hmm.
so many different people, kind of like music in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Um, and you can read a poem a million times and pick out
Mm-hmm.
different bits and pieces and
Mm-hmm.
different things. And I think it's scary to me to put out like I've put out music, but I've put out like joke stuff. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had a White Elephant album that like was totally meant to be like bull crap.
Right.
And I still haven't been able to actually put out something that's sincere.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you're able to put out albums like or put out poems like that is really impressive to be able to put yourself out like that and be vulnerable with people.
Yeah.
But you know, like that means a lot to people too when they read your stuff and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, like I am not alone. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like people are going through similar stuff.
Yeah. And that's the feeling I want to elicit with people as well, you know. Um I it would mean the world to me if someone were to read my stuff and be like, "Hey, I really relate with what you're saying. I really feel this right here." Because the thing is like, you know, it you can read one thing, you can like see one thing, and that can help propel you to your next step of being great in your own way. And if I can help people do that, that would be amazing. Like I think my first book that I wrote, like it came from so much, you know, pressure and uncertainty. And at the same time, you know, they say pressure makes diamonds, and I was able to create like, you know, some beautiful stuff. And it's crazy because some of the most best poems that I wrote come from the most darkest places.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that with music too. It's like that with many different works of art, is that like in your darkest moments, you can create like some of the best things that you've ever created.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think when you try to put yourself in different places in life, and I think you'll get here too, where you'll go through different experiences and then eventually that music will come out eventually,
Yeah.
you know. You'll experience something, you'll get to this feeling, good or bad, and
Yeah.
then eventually it'll facilitate a spark.
Right.
And then like you're able to, you know, go through another 4 bars here, another 4 bars here, and then soon you're able to create something where someone can listen and then they're like, this is dope. Like this is dope stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, life
Yeah.
is the greatest motivator because
Mhm.
the more you live, the more you go out and do stuff, the more you experience, the
exactly.
more you have to talk about.
Like we're all taking stuff, our brains taking millions of information
Yeah.
in, like if our brain was like converted into a computer, it would be like a supercomputer, you know?
Yeah.
And as we like take in all this information, like sometimes it gets too much for us. So like we need that outlet to just create.
Yeah.
Like we're meant to be on this world to create stuff, make dope stuff,
Yeah.
have other people enjoy it. And then they take in our stuff and then they create more stuff for themselves.
Mhm.
And you know, I think people have a misconception of the arts in general where people are like, they don't see the value in it. They don't see how it can like how it helps make the world go around as much as like finance or like things that make money. And obviously it's important to make money and like get your bread and things like that. But at the same time, art and music and all of these things are still very important because it what gives us life. It's what makes things interesting. It's that extra color that splashes onto the canvas and, you know, makes things come to life. Like imagine a world with no music. That world sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine a world where there's no art and everything's just drab. Like
Yeah.
you don't want to live in that world.
No, I'd rather just scrape by and make art than
Exactly.
working a 9 to 5 job for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
Like, that's no way to live.
Yeah. So, you know, I think if any advice to anybody going through something, I would just say create.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in your darkest moments, try to make something different out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, the universe will grant you favor just for putting something into the world eventually.
Yeah.
You know, Um,
That's what I'm trying to do with this channel too. When I initially
mhm,
made it, I just wanted to talk to as many different people as I can about
mhm,
stuff that they are. I want to talk to people about their experiences, the stuff they're passionate about,
mhm,
because that's what matters the most to me.
yeah.
And you're a very passionate person,
Mhm.
and you have so much to offer too. Found a cool leaf.
Yeah, we can
That's pretty cool.
show these pictures.
Yeah,
You want us to show the leaf pictures? He wants us to show the leaf pictures.
leaves.
There we go.
Yes.
Oh my God. That's great. It is a beautiful day out, man.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
nice. I came a little
Mhm.
overdressed.
Nah,
I
it's
wore a
all
whole sweater.
good. It's all good.
But
God was in his art bag today himself. So
yes, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, but the world is so beautiful, and it's what I'm excited for on my trip to experience new things. And because
Yeah.
Japan, it could not be more different than here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the more difference I,
Yeah. The thing I've seen with Sam for sure is that like his growth has been amazing, honestly. Like, the level of confidence, like on Instagram, um, a lot of the things that we connected about, I'd see him.
that's awesome.
Awesome. So, he would write about his different experiences and like I'll try to level with him and talk to him about it and then I'll talk about my own stuff and we really kept that relationship going and over time you see him like I can see him like try different things, go into different things, and really improve on himself. And it's been really inspiring. And like whenever I see him like try to do different things on like Instagram or in person, I'm like, you're right. Hey, I gotta do different stuff on my own. And it's really like I think we have like a iron sharpens iron type of friendship.
Yeah,
And
we've been through a lot. We've had our ups and
exactly,
downs, definitely, but
exactly.
at the end of the day, we're still here and still
Yeah.
talking to each other. And
Exactly. And like, I think this channel is probably one of his, crowning achievements because he's really putting himself out there. He's really, expressing himself in a different way and making sure, like he's putting himself out there.
yeah,
And I think it's great, man. I
yeah,
think this channel's going places. I think this Japan trip's going to be awesome for you
yeah.
for
Thanks.
sure. It's going to have a blast,
Yeah, that's when I started this channel at the
Mhm.
kind of
Big leaf.
that is a big
Big
leap.
leaf.
Wow. um, but yeah, I wanted this channel to be my outlet. Like my
Mhm.
dad has his podcast.
Mhm.
You have your poems. Like everyone
Mhm.
has their own thing, and that's what's most important. And I've
Mhm.
tried YouTube a million times,
Yeah.
but I like making videos where I'm like, "What's up, guys? It's my Minecraft
Yeah.
world." Like
Yeah.
that has its own beauty in its
What's
own.
going on? Comedy Shorts Gamer here.
Oh my god. I used to watch him religiously. Oh my god. Um, but yeah, like I need to make my own kind of content, and I'm not
Mhm.
like whenever I try to make things, even whether it's like just talking on my spam Instagram, like talking
Mhm.
about what I'm going through, or whenever I try to make things like it's always created a ripple effect with my friends where like, hey, like this inspired me to want to like I remember Corey made his own spam account,
Mm,
and I had a lot of people like try to do their own version of such things.
for sure. For
And
sure.
the fact that I can have that effect on people is my goal at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
It's all about energy,
Mhm.
like I think the rule is energy cannot be created or destroyed, something like that.
Mhm.
But the thing is that like things flow into different areas, like you might do something and then they feel the energy and then they create something different. And I think in the world we all facilitate each other to do different things.
Mhm.
And when it comes to these friendships that we formed from high school, sometimes they fall apart, other times like we go through stuff, but you know it really helps to have some that stand the test of time,
Mhm.
and you know you help each other get better
Yeah.
through thick and thin, and seeing each other grow, seeing each other try different things and succeed at different things, it really motivates you to just keep doing life and like excelling at it too. And it's just great, man.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've changed so much, and like my friendships have changed too so much over the years. And some people are here for a season, some people are here for, a longer time.
That's
But
yeah.
I've had to. It's been interesting navigating relationships because it changes for every person, and
Yeah.
people serve. I like not to use this in like I'm using people, but people
Right.
serve their purposes.
Mhm.
Or some people are just like I've known Sam for 7 years, and we don't. Oh my God! I just smacked in the face with a leaf. Um, I just I value him a lot because no matter what, no matter who I am, at the end of the day, we're both constantly changing, and the fact that
Mhm.
I can have someone who just hits me up every once in a while and be like, hey, you want to hang out or
Mhm.
talk, or it's important to have those kinds of people that
For sure.
no matter what will have your back.
For sure. For sure. It's beautiful seeing how different life can be
Mm-hmm.
and having things consistent
Yeah.
and understanding that, and that's just one of the things that just facilitates happiness and helps people be happy. It really helps.
One of my favorite things in the world is meeting new people because
Mhm.
everybody has such unique experiences and
Mhm.
unique ways of seeing the world.
Mhm.
And my sibling especially, like every time I talk to them, um, it's their view on the world is so unique and
Mhm.
cool, and it's that way with everybody. And
Mhm.
every friend I meet, every person I talk to, like
Mhm.
that's my favorite thing in the world. And
Mhm.
the more people you can meet, the more people, like, I'm not saying go out and make a million friends because that's
For sure.
impossible.
Yeah.
But, talk to people. That's what I want to do here. Like,
Mhm.
talk to as many people as I can. Even if you just met the person, like,
Mhm.
what are you passionate about? What it is that drives you?
Exactly.
That's I love seeing that from
Yeah,
people.
because everyone's made up of so many different ingredients of this life.
Yeah.
So when you pick that up, when you like take something from somebody here, like when you look at sports, right? You have the like you have the very first quarterback like Johnny Unitas or something, and then look how people like someone like Peyton Manning picks up different things from Johnny Unitas and be like, hey, he used to do that, so I picked that up.
Yeah.
And then, you have all these sorts of inspirations that make you you. And I think one thing that people don't realize sometimes is that no one is 100% original.
No.
Nobody. Somebody picks up something from somebody to help them be the person they are today. So when you meet different people, when you put yourself out there, you're really enhancing yourself. You're
Yeah.
really creating and being the best you can be because you're taking all these things from different people and you're repackaging it.
Yeah.
You're like seeing how it can fit into your life and seeing how you can, provide for your family, seeing how you can provide for your friends, and even adding to your personality and seeing how you can express yourself to people and, elicit good vibes and make good vibes, and
Yeah.
that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's most important at the end of the day is relationships and communication. And the world is beautiful. You just gotta go out and see it.
Yeah.
The more you get into the rhythm of things and working every day and doing the same thing, like,
Yeah.
just get out there and see the world. And that's why, like, travel for me has been such a big thing. Like, and I know you've been out of the country too.
Yeah.
So just getting out of there, seeing different worlds, and being able to you know share that with people and see how different cultures are. Like, that's so cool. So
Yeah.
cool. Life's too short to spend it in one place.
Exactly. And I think touching on your earlier point of like peoples and seasons, I think it took a while for me to understand that like not everyone's here for the long haul. Not everyone's here for the same amount of time. So while you're in your moments of going through life, whether it's in different cultures and things like that, just make sure to appreciate the moments you have with people as well.
Yeah.
Like for me, for both of us, I know we always appreciate those moments in choir, whether it's like those times before school started, during, after, when you both hit that note in unison, when you mess up that note, when you're laughing in between periods and stuff like that, when you're making jokes with mail cards, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Those acapella mornings.
Exactly. Like when you go through these moments in time, it's easy for you to like be a ghost and like be separate from your body and like not be present. But it's important to be present. It's
Mhm.
important to understand that like, you know, you're on the earth, like enjoy it.
Yeah, you only get one life.
Exactly. Enjoy it. When you're with that person, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're with your family, enjoy it.
It's
Cause
been so many times, especially recently with me,
Mhm.
like I feel like everyone's gotten, like, I hate to sound like a boomer, but everyone's gotten so glued to their phones.
Mhm.
And when I'm with my friends, like I will be annoying and be like,
Mhm.
yo, like we're together, put your phone away. Like we don't,
Yeah.
like if I'm ever on a date or anything like that and I see, like, I make it a very, very clear point that like
Mhm.
we need to appreciate every chance we
The
get with each
atmosphere
other.
of the moment,
Right.
for
Like
sure.
I just saw my grandma over the weekend and
Mhm.
like we talked for like eight hours at least, and
Yeah.
we never looked at our phones once. We just
Exactly.
like, enjoyed talking to each other and enjoyed the
Mhm.
moments we get, because we don't live forever. Like we don't know
Exactly.
how many more moments we're gonna get with anybody.
Yeah,
So
and it's so easy to like be like just either like worrying about the future or like dragging your feet through the past. And like I
mhm,
know I've been guilty of it, of just thinking about like past situations and
mhm,
like, oh, how could this happen like this? How could this happen
yeah,
like that? How could this happen like that? But when you stay present, you allow yourself to be a facilitator in
yeah,
your own life. You're in the driver's seat and you're like, okay, I'm making this right turn, I'm making this left turn, I'm signaling left, I'm signaling right,
mhm,
and then I'm pressing the gas, I'm pressing the brake, and when you're in the past, like there's things you can't control.
yeah,
When you're in the future, you're things that you can't control.
yeah,
When you allow life to come through you and you allow yourself to, be in the situation, live your life and smile and enjoy stuff, life gets better,
yeah. There's time
and
for reflection, but you can't get
exactly.
stuck in the past. You got to keep moving forward, and um, I think you just got to keep learning. And if you're really stuck on, like, oh my god, I can't believe I did this, or like I
Yeah.
can't believe I said that, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know write stuff down, think it
Mm-hmm.
out, like work through it in your head, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to move on and just be better next time, or
Exactly.
realize it's not your fault, and like that person wasn't meant to be around. Like it
Yeah.
really is, like, you just got to be you, and focus on yourself, and the
Exactly.
rest will come. And the people who really matter, if are your true self, the people who really matter will, um, you will find them, they will find you.
Exactly. And like usually that stuff sounds cliche, but people got to realize like it's right. And the thing is, like the cliche sayings are correct,
Hmm.
but like you do have to execute them.
Hmm.
Like it's a plan that's stood the test of time. But the thing is, you got to apply it to your own life and put it in context in your own life and then just do it,
Yeah.
you know? And that's just how the cookie crumbles. When it comes to mental health and back to the past and future thing, I think that's where those are the two spaces where people get, whether it's their past traumas or their future, they're worrying about the future of the past traumas coming back to haunt them.
Hmm.
Um, it really gets to a point where it's like, where are you now?
Hmm.
Like right now we're in a park. We both have had stuff happen to us, but like right now we're just in the moment. We're talking, we're
Yeah.
vibing.
Hmm.
It's life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I've
Um,
spent way too long focused on like stuff I did in high school and who I was in high school. But
mhm,
the fact of the matter is that, like, I've changed a lot and I've
mhm,
become a better person,
mhm.
and like everybody sucked in high school. Like
Yeah, for
like
sure.
and people have changed and my friends have changed, and
Mhm.
it's so cool to see how people have grown from
Yeah,
high school. Like
yeah.
I'm 22, almost 23. Like,
Mhm.
I still have a lot of room to grow and a lot of room to change, and I will be
Yeah,
very different from how I am right now,
yeah.
uh, in a week or a
For sure,
year.
for
Who
sure.
knows?
That's where that's why I named my book, my first book that I wrote, Tales for Growing Sunflowers,
Hmm.
because the point of the book is that like, none of this is actually final.
Hmm.
Finding the way you smile, things that make you happy. Like when you're like growing through the dirt and you're going through the mud of life, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just like you might see some stuff, you might go through some stuff. Your mental's not going to be 100% right all the time, but once you are able to see the sky, once you're able to like grow leaf by leaf, you know, you find the beauty of this world. You find the things that make life beautiful. And once you're able to find that outlet to express that, I think the world rewards you back. And you get rewarded back, and things, you find happiness in that.
For
And I
sure.
truly believe that.
Yeah. We definitely got to do a part 2, but we got to start wrapping things up for now. So
Yes, sir.
it was a pleasure talking to you as always.
It was
and
awesome, man.
we are definitely both similar in a lot of ways with how we
Yeah.
think. So
Sam Squared, man.
Sam squared. That's the title of the video.
Yeah,
So,
yes, sir.
I always ask. I don't know if you have one on the top of your head, but I always ask for the guest to have a song of the week. Do you have a song of the week that you'd like to share?
A Remember by iykyk. It's spelled Asake, but I've been playing that on repeat,
Yeah.
and it's an Afrobeat song, and it elicits such a good feeling. Like I've been vibing to it all week, so
Nice,
definitely
nice.
that one.
Very cool. Thank you as always for coming on, and I hope to
Yes,
have you
sir.
on very soon after my
Yes, sir.
Japan trip.
Yes, sir. Let's go.